Hi, and welcome to the Name Game and Other Stuff. Come on in.
Scissors and string. Soon it will be spring.
Hello, and welcome to the Knitting Game and Other Stuff. This is episode 83, and I'm recording Wednesday night again. So I missed Friday. Today is Wednesday. I can't record this Friday because I have to get up very early in the morning. So I'm recording today and making up for lost time. So today's show is going to be kind of interesting and fun and different, and I think we're going to have a good time. So first of all, I'm Leslie, also known as Pixie Knits in various different iterations across the internet. If you want to get in touch with me and learn how to follow me and interact with me and do all sorts of fun things online, go to the show notes at myordinaryjourney.com. It's all one word, myordinaryjourney.com, and you can get the show notes there, and then I have links to my project pages and vendors, yarn enabling and needle folks and all sorts of goodies and things like that. So now what I'd like to do is welcome some of our newest members since I last recorded. So we've got Munzi, and that's Barbara, Kimarina, and that's Heather, Grandma Cher, Fifikins, Fiona, absolutely Kathy. So, hi everybody, and thank you very much for joining the group. We have 199 members, so you know what that means. At 201, because I'm not going to count myself because I started the group, so at 201, we only have 2 people left. It's going to be that membership milestone giveaway. If you are a member of the group when we hit 201, you're automatically eligible to win a prize. What that prize is, I don't know, but it'll be something fun. All right, and then we have some birthdays. So these birthdays take us through the end of the month. So we get through Thanksgiving and all that good stuff for the birthdays. So first is Spun Too Tight, and that's Ashley. Last Knit is Lisa. Jill Shook is Jill, and Pinecone is Shannon. So happy birthday, everybody. Oh, what a great time of year to have a birthday, too. It's so nice and crisp and wonderful knitting weather, and holidays are coming up. So we had Halloween, and here in the States, I don't know about around the world what Halloween traditions you may have if you're watching and not in the States. But, the kids go out and eat candy, which means the parents kind of bogart some candy after the kids come home, or we just kind of eat the leftovers. And a lot of times everybody brings about half the candy the kids collect and bring it into the office for everybody. So that is the official start of eating season. So you've got winter, spring, summer, fall, and then eating season. So eating season goes from Halloween through to New Year's, and there's an unofficial annex called Valentine's Day, Easter, and the 4th of July. So those are the unofficial eating holidays, and there's the whole eating season. So we are now in that season. So you guys that have birthdays, it's a great season. Everybody's partying, anybody celebrating here. We're having Thanksgiving next week here in the United States. So that's a big holiday for us to be with families and be with each other and give thanks for the blessings that we have in our lives. So I'm going to be recording the day after Thanksgiving, which is what we call Black Friday. And that's when we go and act like crazy people in the stores at 3 o'clock in the morning and standing in line. I do not do that. I refuse to do that. I do all of my Christmas shopping online. I do not know stores. Don't do them. No. So anyway, so happy birthday, guys, and welcome to the group, and let's get into shout outs, announcements, and general chit chat, which I've kind of already been doing. So first of all, I want to take this opportunity to thank someone very special. I am not going to name her by name because I haven't asked, but she was the very first donor to the Knitting Game podcast. She donated for in honor of Veterans Day to thank me for my service, but I really appreciated that, and I wanted to say thank you very much because I've never had a donation to the show, so anything I've done prize-wise or, you know, mail-wise for the show it's all been out of my pocket. I host my website separate, and I pay for the hosting. So the generous donation that I received, that will help sponsor our next giveaway. So I'm going to roll right into the next kind of giveaway prize thing right now. So I'm going to have a contest, and I'm not going to tell you what that contest, well, I'm going to tell you what the contest is, but it's going to kind of be a secret until the Knitting Game winner is announced. So here's the deal. There's a certain skein of yarn that has just won the last Knitting Game. So I've been asking folks to vote on their favorite yarn that they want to see me knit with. So there is a winner. So the next phase of the project is going to be picking a pattern. And if you don't catch all of this when I'm talking about it, there is a link in the show notes that you can go to that will take you to the Knitting Game forums, and you can read everything there. So here's the deal. So what you're going to be doing is providing me suggestions for the pattern that I should use to knit with the winner of the Knitting Game Pick Your Yarn contest or voting. Knitting Game. So here are the rules. So 1, you have to be a member of the group. In the past, I've had it open to anybody in the group because it was on my dime, and I don't think it's fair that the donor should necessarily provide a prize to someone that's not a member of the group, because she is. So I want to keep it in the family, so to speak. So you have to be a member of the group. I think that's kind of fair. The suggestions close at 12 noon Eastern U.S. time. So I live near Washington, D.C. When it is 12 noon in Washington, D.C. on November 29th, 2013, aka Black Friday, that's when the suggestions are going to close, because then I have to record. Alright, so more than one entry will be allowed per person, but only one entry per category. So here are the categories. You've got feet, and that can be either socks. Feet, socks. Legs can be either leg warmers or boot toppers. So, but legs is a category. So you can either suggest a leg warmer, or you can suggest a leg boot topper. But you can suggest both socks and leg warmers. Kind of get the picture here? So then there are head, a hat. I can't think of anything else that would go on the head but a hat. The neck, I can't think of anything that would go around the neck. I guess cowls. I'll have to change that. So scarf or cowl. Hands would be mittens and gloves, or fingerless mittens and gloves. So either mittens and gloves or fingerless mittens and gloves. And then the last category would be shoulders, and that is where I put shawls or wraps or stoles. So, so you can mix it up. You can have a combination of feet, legs, head, hands, and shoulders, and neck. So you can suggest one from each of the categories. And then it has to take exactly one skein of the winner, because I only have one, and I can't dip in, to something else, because I only have one. So that is, go forth and suggest away, have fun. The winner, how the winner is going to be chosen. So this is kind of going to be a little bit different. It's not necessarily going to be a random number generator. If I like everything that, and you know, if I like everything that everybody suggests, then I'll just do a random number generator and just pick one, and that'll be the winner. But if it gets like really difficult and I can't pick I can't pick something, I think what I'm going to do is turn it into a knitting game. And I'll have folks vote on, I'll start with all the patterns that everybody suggests, and it'll be like one of those American Idol deals, and like I'll cull out 5 from the bottom, like the lowest 5 votes will be out, depending on how many I get. So it'll either be random number generator, or it'll be a knitting game, the next knitting game, and you'll find out on the 29th what I've decided to do. So it'll be a little bit of surprise. So, fun, fun, fun. A little bit different. So, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please PM me, but don't post them in the actual thread. And what I'll do is I'll put those like frequently asked questions up on a companion thread, and then I'll address those as they come in. If you have any questions, just let me know. If you need any clarification or anything like that, it's fine, it's great. So I wanted to say thank you, and I wanted to honor the spirit of the contribution by holding my first viewer, donor, contributor contest giveaway prize thing deal. Alright, so that being said, let's move on. You may have noticed there has been a little change in the way I look. So yes, I cut my hair, got my bangs done, and it's a little bit of a different shape. When she first did the blowout, it kind of, I had to take a step back. It was a little bit more than I anticipated. It was a little poof, and I looked, ooh, and it was kind of crazy, and I kind of toned it down. And it was funny, Monday at work, nobody noticed. Tuesday, people said, did you do something? And then by today, everybody's like, oh, you cut your bangs. Took a little time for it to kind of heat up. I do kind of sit at my desk, and my back is to the door, so people only see really the back of my head, which I hope actually looks pretty good, because that's what most people see of me during the day, is the back of my head. But speaking about my job, let me tell you, you may have noticed that I'm not as online as I used to be after I changed jobs back in May. So I've been here in my new job now for 6 months, and I have to say, I am absolutely blown away. I have been very engaged at work. I've been able to make contributions and suggestions, and the customer seemed very pleased with how I was doing things, and I didn't know. I just, because I go to work, and you know, everybody does. They go to work, they do your job, you know, you go through your day. Well, yesterday I kind of got ambushed by my business unit director. I was walking into a colleague's office to ask a question and to run something by him, and I saw this big gaggle of folks in his office, and I'm like, ooh, I need to go. And come to find out, they had a little spot award for me, and they recognized me for my work. And I've only been there for 6 months, so that made, you know, having to use all my leave during the shutdown and, you know, things like that, really worth it, I think. It was really nice to be acknowledged for the work that I do, because I don't think of it as work. I enjoy it, and apparently it's things that other people didn't like or didn't want to do, and I was able to take that and excel. So my husband and son just came home from the gym, and they're over there making funny noises, and my husband just did something wholly inappropriate. It was kind of crazy. So I'm glad that you can't see that, because that would have been horrible. I'm not going to say what he did. It was bad. So they just got home from the gym, and they're goofing on me. So that was shout outs, announcements, and general chit chat. So we're going to go and move on to the knitting game. So like I alluded to before, this time around, folks were voting. You were voting on which yarn you wanted to see me knit with. And this was the fourth and final round of the knitting game. So the two skeins of yarn that were up to a vote were the returning champion here, which is Miss Babs. And it's her Yummy base, and it's the Maryland 2013, 2013 colorway. I got this at Maryland Sheep and Wool. So this was the returning champion for this particular knitting game. And the challenger was Into the World. It is the Manchester base, which is 80-10-10 for superwash merino, cashmere, and nylon. I also purchased this at Maryland Sheep and Wool. So it came down to two Maryland Sheep and Wool purchases, which suits me just absolutely adorably fun. So the winner of the Pick My Yarn knitting game, with a mere 52% of the vote, this hank of this skein of yarn only won by 2 votes, if you can believe that. It was very close, and I didn't even vote, which is probably good because I would have gotten close to tying it, I'm sure. Although I don't really know which one I would have gone with, which is interesting because I love them both. But the winner is Into the World Captain Tight Pants. Everybody loves their Captain Tight Pants, myself included. So what you have to do for the contest now is pick patterns that you want to see me knit with Captain Tight Pants. I can have a tight pants hat. I can have a tight pants cowl. I can have some tight pants mittens, but I cannot have tight pants. We're not doing pants. I cannot wear pants made out of Captain Tight Pants. Not gonna work. So that's why that wasn't in the leg category. No pants. No pants, no bikinis, no under whatever crazy. I know they're out there. So yeah, none of that. Just regular like socks or leg warmers, hats, mittens, shawls, scarves, that sort of thing. So Captain Tight Pants. So here are the specs, because you can only use one skein. There's approximately 435 yards in 100 grams here. So whatever I knit with has to be 435 yards or less, so I can make it out of one hank, because I only have one hank of Captain Tight Pants. It kind of matches. It's cashmere. Very nice. So that is it for the knitting game for right now. So moving on. I don't have anything in progress, finished, or in timeout for the knitting game. So we're moving on to some of the other stuff. So the only thing I have in progress right now, I'm currently in the middle of binding off my first sock of my shutdown socks. So as you can see, I've only got a quarter of the bind off done, but I am binding these off slowly but surely. I've been a little distracted, so I haven't actually worked on these lately, and it's because I have a super secret knitting project that I was trying to crank out before Saturday, and I didn't finish, so these kind of went by the wayside until I was finished on that. So these are done out of, I can't say it, it's a German Etsy seller. She is linked in the show notes. It means pirate yarn in English, and she has no colorways, but she does do numbers, so this is like 908 or something like that. It's like pinks and aquas and yellows, and it matches my hitchhiker pretty close. But it's just regular fingering weight. So I'm doing the Elizabeth Zimmerman's sewn bind off. I prefer that bind off for socks rather than the stretchy one, because I don't like that little ruffled edge at the top, and this is just a little bit cleaner, I think. So that is the socks. So I'm in the middle of doing that. So I do have two, that's right, two finished objects. So the first one was a quickie. Last week I decided it was actually going to get cold and I needed a neutral cowl to go with some of my coats. I have a gray coat and a houndstooth coat that is white and black, so I needed something neutral to go with it. So I cranked out a cowl. It's kind of sort of based on the Three Willows cowl that I did, but not really. I've changed it up. Instead of doing stockinette in between the elongated stitches, I did garter, so that means I had to purl around on the sucker, which wasn't bad. It was really quick because it's like huge yarn and I was using size 11 needles. This is out of Cascade Pacific Chunky. It's like a steel gray and a dove gray, and I used ChiaoGoo US 11s, and I'm calling this neutral on the fly cowl, so because I just decided real quick I needed to do it, and it took me about an afternoon, 2 afternoons to do. So that is my cowl. It's nice and warm. And then on the train, I finished today. I didn't bind it off. I bound it off at home, but I finished the actual knitting part on the train today. It is my Poseidon's second job stole, but it's really a scarf, and it looks teeny weeny right now because it's teeny weeny, and when I soak it and block it, it will grow to be pretty. So I've gotten so many compliments on the train on this yarn and the pattern, and I couldn't be more pleased. I am just absolutely ecstatic about how this came out and how it looks and how extremely well the yarn knit up. So this is Leading Men Fiber Arts in the Showstopper base in the Poseidon colorway. Excuse me. And the color, it is so neat because the color has not completely saturated the yarn, so it gives that kind of monochromatic look. In places it's darker, in others it's lighter, and it's very tonal. And I love that you can kind of, it's almost like the dye has blushed the yarn, just barely kissed it, and I like being able to see the yarn and the texture of my stitches, and it was great. Not splitty at all, and it's so soft. When it was in the cake, you would think that it had cashmere in it. I mean, that's how soft this base is, and I just can't wait to get it soaked and blocked. So I had my daughter help me stretch it out, and I think when it gets all the way stretched out, because here it's not even a yard, but it stretches. I know you can't see that, so it stretches, and it was about 1.5 yards, so it's about 5 foot long when I stretch it out completely. So it'll be a little shorter than that because I need some width to it to show off the stitch pattern. But there you go. So I have 2 finished objects and an almost hoe. Hey. So, all right, moving on. I don't have any stash. I have a couple things in timeout, as always. I haven't been doing any spinning. I have to finish my double rainbow from Into the World, and I still have my Spectrum Poonies from Gourmet Stash, but I do have a plan for those, and I know exactly what I'm going to do with them, and it's going to be so fun and amazing. And it really does take me into my next hobby. Yes, you heard me right. I have a new hobby, which has also been sucking my time, but it's great. It's not Candy Crush like everybody else. I was inspired, if you remember, the local art gallery here in the area where the Guildhauser Studio is doing something called a 6x6x6 show. And there was an artist there whose pieces sold before the show even opened. How crazy is that? I mean, they're that good. And it is a combination of embroidery needlepoint with quilting. And it was just fabulous things. Like, she hand stitched these quilt panels, but 6x6 quilt panels with beads in a fractal pattern. I mean, it was gorgeous. So taking a cue from that, I have decided I really like that whole needlepoint idea, and I have incorporated that into some of this fabric. So I am giving a shot at embroidery. So here's my next project. What I've done is I'm embellishing just regular quilting cotton fabric with like motifs that go along with it. So I've got this Christmassy fabric, and it's kind of in this poinsettia, and I've backed it with the soft back quilting fusible backing. And here I'm working on a poinsettia flower done just with the DMC floss. I got their like Christmas pack. So I'm doing a large poinsettia here that I'm doing with this multicolored yarn, and I'm using the stem stitch. I'm using vocabulary. I used the stem stitch to do these leaves, and then I used a combination of the satin stitch for like this leaf here and the ones that are pointed north, east, south, and west. But for these all intermediate compass directions, I used it's called like, kind of means rice or something in Spanish. I can't remember what it is. Didn't work out quite like I was hoping for, but that is okay. You know, I'm learning. And then over here I did this stitch. It's a raised fly crossover something or other to do these leaves. So when I say embellish, you know, I'm taking the pattern that's already there and I'm adding to it. And I think I might outline some of these poinsettias or a petal or two on them. And then I'm going to frame them in regular picture frames, but I'm going to leave the glass off so that the quilting can, you know, the raised areas won't be squished down. So that is my new hobby, and I love it. It is so much fun. I just enjoy it. And the good thing is I got fat quarters, so I have 3 more of these panels that I can do and embellish and make into maybe like little ornaments or something to hang from a Christmas tree. All sorts of things you can do with it. So I think that's like loads of fun. So that's what I'm working on. And that has been a lot. So I'm glad that you all have decided to stick with me this week. And sorry for the delay, but as you know, the schedule can be kind of crazy and hairy. And I thought for a while there maybe I should stop. And I thought about, you know, putting the show on a hiatus. But instead of having a fixed, I know people like the fixed schedules, but sometimes I hate making promises that I'm going to record and then I can't because something comes up, or I'm exhausted, or whatever the case may be. So I'm going to record when I can. So it'll either most likely be Wednesday nights or Friday mornings. So there you go. Wednesday nights or Friday mornings, I think those are good opportunities. So no promises either way on which one I do. But I think that's it. So I'm not going to say don't forget to vote because there's really nothing to vote on. But don't forget to enter into the contest because I really can't wait to send somebody a wonderful prize for helping me pick my next pattern. So until sometime, the 29th, I will definitely record next Friday. I don't know what I was thinking. Definitely record next Friday because I have the day off. Hey, there we go. That works. So until then, I hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving if you're here in the States or abroad and helping to celebrate the holiday. And I will talk to you guys later. So I'll see you. All right. Bye, guys.